Hi everyone, I'm back to show you how to make those artist trading card sleeves that I promised I'd show you. This is what they look like. You can see I've got some little ATCs slipped inside these decorative envelopes, and they don't have a closure flap on them, and that's why I call it a sleeve rather than an envelope. That does have a little niche in the top, either a rounded one or a little straight edge one, to make it easy for you to take the card in and out of the sleeve. Let me show you how to make these. They're really quick and easy. Simply cut a piece of decorative paper 6 inches by 4 inches. Then we're going to make some score lines, and it's important for you to make sure you have enough room for your ATC to slide in and out of the sleeve easily. So you want to make sure your two parallel lines that we're going to score are always at least 2 3/4 inches apart. So for a center seam, we're going to go make our score lines at 1 1/2 and at 4 1/4. And the bottom of our sleeve will need to be scored 1/2 inch from the bottom edge. And you'll need to turn your paper on your score pal or your scoring tool in order to make that score. After creating these 3 score lines, we're going to fold each edge, and then we're going to trim off the outside corners, starting where the score lines meet. So let me show you what that looks like. Here I've got my decorative paper cut, and I'm making my score lines so that the center section is 2 3/4 inches apart, and then my bottom score line is at 1/2 inch from the edge. Then I'm going to fold these up, make them nice and crisp, and then we're going to cut out those outside edges where the score lines meet. Then using my double-sided tape, I'm going to fold the bottom up and tape one edge closed, and then fold the other edge over. Put a little tape on here to fix it. Make those lines nice and crisp, and there you have it. Now this pattern has a nice easy way for me to make a straight cut edge because the pattern, the dots are all lined up the same, so I'll just use those as my guide and trim a little triangle out here. This will make it easy for me to slip the card in and out. Then the final step is simply to decorate the front of my sleeves. You can see some of them here are cut with a circle. I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. And I decorated these sleeves by adding some contrasting red and black and white papers and a little silver heart. I've also made these sleeves using old book pages. I like the way that the rough edge can be distressed. So let me show you that. Again, you start with a 6 by 4 sheet of a book page, and you can see it's a little bit shy of that over there on the 6-inch side, so I'm going to have to be super careful on how I put this one together or it won't close up in the middle. But I like to have these seams decorated a little bit to add a vintage look to it. So after folding and cutting, I'm going to grab my ink here and ink up the edge for that a piece that's going to show on the seam. I actually want to show off the seam on this one rather than camouflaging it like I did on the last one. So I've got my paper cut, decorated a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and use double-faced tape again to close up the bottom flap, bring one flap over, and I want to make sure that decorative raw edge that I put my ink on shows on the outside, so it will be the last flap I flip over here. There we go. Now I'm going to use a round cutter, circle cutter, and place my sleeve about at the halfway mark and cut just a little clip of the circle out there, and go ahead and decorate the rest of this sleeve by inking the edges, giving it that little bit of like a tea stain look. for sleeves made from book pages, sometimes I like to highlight some of the words that are on the book page for my ATC. Now there are going to be times when you want to make a sleeve that does not show the seam in the back. Like when you've got a paper you're using that has a pattern in it, such as this. There's no way I could match up the left and the right and have it match. And I want the back to not have a seam showing. So here's how we do that. You can see here, this is the front of my ATC sleeve, and this is the back, and there's no seam. So all we're going to do is change where we score our lines. We still have to make the center part that our ATC slides down into, still has to be 2 3/4 apart from each other. So we're going to start at the 1/2 inch and score, and at 3 1/4 inch and score. And then the bottom line is still 1/2 inches from the bottom, just as before. Of course, you'll need to turn your paper. So after folding and folding all those lines, I'm going to cut out both the left and the right edges where the score lines meet, just as I did before. And now this time when I do it, you can see I'm using a stick glue rather than double-faced tape. But the main thing is that little tiny flap has to go in first so that it won't show on the top. And then we're going to flip the larger side over, and you can see we've got a nice sleeve here with no seam in it. So I can decorate that however I want to. This one again, I'm going to cut with a 1/2 circle. I'm going to line up the top edge with that halfway mark that's on the circle cutter, punch that out, add my own little doodle marks, some coloring, some inking on the edges, and there we have it. Thanks for joining me for today's tutorial on how to create sleeves for your artist trading cards.